This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
You've got a really good friend there over here with Matt Jones. And I'll tell you, Dave Van Hornfield, the exact same way about the disappearance of divisions in the SEC. And that definitely stood out with Dave talking to you guys yesterday.
Yeah, it happened in football. They did away with divisions in men's basketball. It's been a long time. I guess they felt like it wasn't evenly distributed because the East was better than the West or something. And, I don't know why. I get your ad in Oklahoma and Texas, and the league's going from 14 to 16. But, when in 92 when Arkansas and South Carolina came in, they had 6-team divisions. Then, what was it, 2012 or 2013? I think it was 2013 when Missouri and A&M were added. And then so divisions went from 6 to 7. I don't know why you couldn't add Oklahoma and Texas and you have 2 8-team divisions. Now, they're both geographically in the West, but in the major leagues, how many years did the Atlanta Braves play in the NL West? I think the Falcons played in the NFL in the NFC West for a while. I guess if you were in Atlanta and you got added kind of late in the deal expansion-wise, they stuck you in the West. I don't know, but you could move Auburn over maybe, or you could put Oklahoma in the East or whatever. But yeah, I think Dave's right. You have more competition with the divisions, more races. It's more exciting. And so I don't know why they have to have one. I just think one 16-team league just seems so boring, And because who wants to? It's bad enough if you finish in 7th or 8th, right? Who wants to finish 15th or 16th? So but Dave says it sounded like he had a few allies, but not nearly enough. And so this will be the last West title up for grabs in College Station this weekend.
Well, it's like you feel like something is definitely up for grabs this weekend. It'd be different. So either of these teams could finish in second place in the SEC. But battling for second place doesn't have the same excitement level as trying to win a division, finishing in first in something. Battle for second place is never going to feel like that.
Yeah, and sometimes teams like in pros, they might be battling for a playoff spot. Obviously, in college, you're battling for a regional spot, and that's subjective by a selection committee. I think we all know A&M and Arkansas are in the in-state tournament. They're going to host regionals, probably both host super regionals if they advance. But yeah, I think it's great to play. And I don't mean like it needs to be Little League, and not to put down Little League, but I don't know. Not everybody should get a participation trophy. Well, but can the SEC not afford an East and a West trophy and an overall, or whatever? I don't know. I think the more things you can win, the better. And like I say, they don't need to make it ridiculous. I don't know if Dave mentioned, like maybe 4-team. I remember when they talked about football, they talked about these 4-team pods, and I thought that was kind of intriguing. But, I don't know why. It seems like the pros are going to more divisions, right? They went from having 2 divisions to now they're having 3 divisions and had wild cards and all this stuff. And so I think the pros get it. The more quote races there are, the more excitement, the more fans that want to come to your games, and the more concessions you sell, T-shirts, whatever. And I think they figured that out a long time ago. When I was a kid, you had, I think it was 8 teams in each league. You had the National League winner played the American League winner, and that was cool. But then they went to divisions in '69, I think, and that was even more exciting because then you had the playoffs and you had the championship series, then you had the World Series. So now you have a lot of rounds of playoffs. And, so I don't know why the college administrators or the SEC administration feel like divisions are bad, but obviously they're doing away with divisions basically in everything.
Hey, Bob, I'm excited about Gage Woods starting this second game or whenever the second game is. What are your thoughts on that? How do you expect that? I think it's going to be good things for the team.
Yeah, you can see it coming. Dave indicated a couple weeks ago he was getting ready to take somebody's job. And then, Mason Molina, he's had some really good starts, but obviously of late he's really struggled. Brady Tigers, very talented pitcher. He's pitched well out of the bullpen in the past, so maybe that's where he can help. There's one thing about, Gage pitched twice against Mississippi State and last weekend. Well, he's not going to pitch twice if he's starting a game. So if you take him out of the bullpen, then you got to have somebody else hopefully take his place. And so that could be Brady. Maybe you try to get Mason Molina straightened out in short relief or something. Yeah, Gage Wood, he's been coming on. He had, getting out of that was Houdiniac, right? Getting out of that bases loaded, no outs, a jam against Mississippi State. I mean, you figure he's got a 2-run lead, so he's got a little bit of wiggle room, but he didn't give up anything, That was really amazing. He had a good start against Missouri State, which has a decent hitting lineup, I think, And that was his very first start, and clearly they've been trying to lengthen him out a little bit, and he could be a starter next year, And so, yeah, I'm anxious to see how he does in the role, because it's one thing to have a start at home against Missouri State, which is a solid program. It's a whole different deal to do it down at A&M with all those crazy fans that Dave Van Horn alluded to. And so, yeah, I think we know what we're going to get with Hagen Smith. He's going to give you 6 innings or more. I know he only gave him 5 last week. Wow, how terrible. He had the guy to start most coaches would love a guy to have or a guy would like to have, and I guess that was his, quote, subpar start, but I think he'll bounce back and have his usual, strong start, and then, give Arkansas a good shot to win that game. And then, yeah, what can Gage Wood do in game 2? So, yeah, I'm anxious. I'm like you. I'm anxious to see what he can do, because it is a new role for him, and it's a high-stakes game, So if he's a guy that's going to help you in the postseason, this isn't, a regional or the College World Series or whatever, but it's a pretty high-stakes game, so you're going to find out a lot about how this guy does in pressure situations, I think.
Well, when you take somebody out of one situation that has been an important role, and whatever Gage's role has been, and he's had a few of them in the last few times out, it's been really important. Someone's got to step into another role in the bullpen, or just have somebody that hasn't really had too many opportunities to pitch in some pressure moments, like a Cooper Dossett maybe. You just, if you got Gage replacing somebody as a starter, well, then you got to have somebody that takes the innings that he was pitching in relief.
Yeah, and like I said, that's a role Brady Tygart has done well in, and so I don't know. It sounds like the plan is obviously Hagen. He hopefully gives you, as usual, a really good start, and then Gage Wood pitches, and then depending on, but Dave's right. Arkansas needs, obviously, they want to win the series, they want to sweep, whatever, but they got to win one game to win the West. So they're going to go all out to win, however many guys they got to throw. I keep wanting to say Friday night, tonight, although with Hagen, it's usually Hagen and maybe 1 or 2 other guys, and then, But it depends. I don't know if you save Brady Tygart for Sunday. If I think Brady Tygart can help me win, closing a game for Thursday or Friday, whatever, I use him. And I think that's how Dave and probably most coaches look at it. You win the game in front of you, especially when you got to win one to clinch the West, and then you kind of go on from there. And then you see who's left, and maybe on Saturday, you bullpen it. They do have a lot of arms to throw. And but yeah, so somebody's going to have to fill in. If Gage is going to be a starter moving forward for SEC tournament, regional, whatever, and he's a huge bullpen piece, then somebody else has got to do it. And Mason Molina, I think he might have pitched a little bit in relief as a freshman, but he was a starter last year. He's been a starter this year, so that's where the SEC tournament to me could be big for him, because if you're Arkansas or anybody that's pretty well set up, you think, well, geez, going to Hoover is just kind of a pain, right? Some games you got to get through. What you went in and Hoover can't really help you, and all you're going to do is tire out your pitching. But maybe that's a place where Mason Molina can get a start and try to get straightened out. I know you want to win the games, but I certainly would not throw Hagen Smith a lot in Hoover. I'd have him on a very limited pitch count, and if Gage is your guy, him too. But maybe that's a place where Mason Molina can get a start and kind of try to figure some things out, or he can pitch in the bullpen, whatever. But, yeah, you're right. It's going to be interesting to see how this affects the bullpen.
Hey, Bob, defensively, how has this team looked the last couple series and going forward? Is there any room for improvement on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, they've been a good defensive team all year. I think they're I don't know if off the top of my head. I was looking it up yesterday. Me and Tom Murphy were talking about it. But Arkansas's fielding percentage is .982, which is really, really good. It's like in the top 10 nationally, and Mississippi State's just a little bit ahead of them there in the SEC. Like, got to take out the four digits, like a batting race or something. But I do think the last couple of weeks, it's not like they made a bunch of errors, but there's some plays. Now, of course, you think of the running diving catch that Peyton Holt made, and Jared Sprague-Lotz made some really good plays over there at first or third, and Peyton Stovall makes a lot of good plays at second. But I can think of a few plays here and there where I think it's not an error. Maybe that's a hit, but that's a play that they normally would make. Mm-hmm. So I think they could tighten up their defense a little bit. They're certainly a really good defensive team. Most of the season, they frankly have been elite defensively, and the statistics back that up. But I do think they could be a little bit sharper, even the Peyton Holt highlight plays aside.
Well, there's the guy that I wanted to ask about. So I think someone had asked about to Dave, where would you be without Hagen Smith? And I think that's fairly easy to look at. And I don't know if they'd be where they are anywhere close to it. But Peyton Holt, without Peyton Holt, you would have a completely destabilized outfield. Just think, he's hit 4 home runs. 3 of them have been for either a tie game in the 9th inning or a late lead. And when there's needed energy, he's been the one who's provided energy, and it's always been through big moments. So, look, the infield has certainly done a lot of the producing, but I don't know where this team would be without Peyton Holt.
Yeah, it's amazing what I think he played a little bit of outfield at Crowder Community College, but he didn't play any outfield last year for the Razorbacks. I think he played 1 game in right field. He's, an infielder by trade. He's a guy that can play second, third, probably can play short, probably can play first. I think he was their emergency catcher at times. It would have been interesting. Maybe there was some game like they were playing somebody that they knew they were going to beat real bad. There was a guy when I was a kid growing up named Cesar Tovar who played for the Twins, and he played all 9 positions 1 game late in the season when the pennant race was over or whatever. But if anybody could Google Cesar Tovar. But Peyton, they put him in center, which is premium defensive position, and he's made some great plays out there. Think about it. In center field, he's made 2 plays against Florida and Mississippi State that were top 10 on the ESPN, Sports Center. And he's made other really good plays, too. And he's a guy that really is an outfielder by trade. And not only is he, okay or adequate, he's been really good. And I know Wilmsmeyer's their best outfielder defensively, but Peyton Holt's been right up there, and not just making great plays physically, but really good plays mentally, like the Deke play against Florida. And he's brought a lot of excitement to that lineup. Like say driving in runs with home runs, but he's batting leadoff. He's got really good speed. He doesn't like seeing him fly around the bases with his helmet flying off, and then he picks up his helmet with a double. His helmet flew off, and he picked it up, and he holds it like a football. He does the Heisman pose, and of course he was a quarterback at Greenwood, I think, and so. I don't think you go up to the plate thing. I'm going to hit a double, and my helmet's going to fall off, and then I'm going to do the Heisman pose. I just think that's a spontaneous thing. And I'm sure I know the fans went crazy if they noticed that. We were going crazy in the press box, going, "Hey, you did the Heisman pose. Can you believe that?" It was just a really cool thing. And then the thing that I thought was really interesting, I saw this on video where after he hit the go-ahead home run against Mississippi State, he goes to the dugout. Of course, the dugout's going crazy. And he passes Dave Van Horn, and Dave, doesn't even react. I guess that's just being Mr. Cool as a cucumber or whatever. And I thought that was funny. But, yeah, Peyton Holt has brought lots of energy, lots of offense, defense, just everything. He's been a super-duper catalyst for these guys.
Bob, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time. We'll be reading you in the Democrat-Gazette.
Okay, you guys take care.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.